Violante Cerroti was among the most well-known women artists in her hometown during the 18th century, but in our day, she's largely gone from famous to relatively unknown. We're investigating why that is tonight at the Medici Archive Project with the Advancing Women Artists Foundation. Poiret Masse, researcher for the Advancing Women Artists Foundation, and Elizabeth Wicks, painting restorer, teamed up to write the book The Lady Who Paints, Violante Siries Cerroti. Violante's self-portrait hangs in the Uffizi, and she painted some of the most prominent figures of her era, including European rulers, Tuscan nobles, and grand tourists. Yet she remains largely an enigma in our time. We know she was the daughter of a French goldsmith, and that the artistic circles of the Tuscan and French courts informed her aesthetic sensibilities. We spoke to Poiret to learn a bit more about her life and why she's not yet a household name.
Violante she was very well known in her time period, and she painted many important people, but virtually she's been forgotten today. And some of my theories about why this is that the 18th century is still a very underexplored period in Florentine history when a lot of interesting things were going on. So some of her work has been attributed to other artists and some remains unidentified. And a lot of her portraits were made for private collections, and they're still in private collections today and not visible to visitors to museums, for example. I think when I was researching Violante, I started with this contemporary biography that was written for the collection of the Uffizi, and it lists a number of important patrons and just a large number of works that it hinted at, and I wondered where these paintings were. So that was really what drove me to find out more about her and to find her paintings so that we could see firsthand what her art is.
Violante was able to achieve prominence in her time through completing her masterwork, a copy of the Luca Giordano altarpiece, The Virgin Mary Presents the Christ Child to Santa Maria Maddalena dei Pazzi. The Advancing Women Artists Foundation recently restored the altarpiece, and restorer Elizabeth Wicks got to get up close and personal with Violante through her hands-on work with the painting. We spoke to her about what she learned.
I think the first thing that I gleaned about the artist that surprised me was her age when she painted the painting, which was 58. She was a working mother who helped support her family. There were 3 children still living at home at the time, and so she was earning from her living. And it's been a really exciting process to be involved with. And of course, restoration is always a new challenge every time. And it certainly is the case in the restoration of this painting, but I was really fortunate to be involved with such a wonderful team that AWA put together, and that was another really nice, enjoyable part of the whole experience for me. This painting is the Madonna presenting the Christ child to Santa Maria Maddalena dei Pazzi, who was a Florentine saint. She was a noble woman named Caterina de' Pazzi, who took the name Maria Maddalena, and she was canonized in 1669. And her cult, she was a woman who was a mystic, and she had visions which were written down by the nuns in the convent, and they were actually published, which helped divulge her fame, and her cult spread far and wide over Europe. But of course, in her home city of Florence, it was where she was most popular, and so she became a favorite subject of painters. And the painting was painted for the sacristy of the church, which was renamed for the saint when her body was moved and buried beneath the high altar.
To learn more about Violante, watch The Lady Who Paints, the documentary short featured in this clip. It's an Advancing Women Artists Foundation production, powered by Bunker Film and directed by Francesco Cacchiani.